Live again for a special emergency broadcast of Search for Uhuru. If you guys don't know, Sleepy Joe Biden has dropped out. He has quit. What does that mean? And I really want to hear. So I'm going to put the link in the chat room. And I'm going to put the link in the chat room in around 10 to 15 minutes. I like to hear from Team Vote Blue, no matter who. Because this didn't just start today. The Democratic Party's spiral out of control or downward spiral. There we go. The Democratic Party's downward spiral started in 2016. That's why when I hear Team Vote Blue, no matter who, Donald Trump's trying to take away our democracy. Like when I hear them say that, like, do you guys realize how this all started? Do you guys really realize why you're in, not me, but why you're in the position you're in right now? It started in 2016 with Donna Brazile, and I forgot the name of the other lady, decided to sabotage Bernie Sanders and anoint Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton got blown out. Then again in 2020. And what saved the Democratic Party in 2020 was COVID and George Floyd. And we're just going to say white guilt, okay? A lot of white guilt votes. The Democratic Party received a lot of white guilt votes. That's what that was. Because if you guys notice, when you go outside in your white liberal communities, where are all the Black Lives Matter signs? Where are all the Black Lives Matter signs? Where are they? Where are they? And I'm going to do a separate show on that. And I'm going to get into Kamala because there's no way I don't see Kamala being a nominee. But even if she is the nominee, well, she's the nominee, but I think the race is going to be contested at the DNC. Yeah, there. Thank you, Alan. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So when Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Donna Brazile decided, and this is documented, Team Vote Blue, no matter who. Team, they're taking away our democracy. Team Project 2025. When they sabotaged and took away your democracy and decided to choose Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, it started this downward spiral. 2020 came, and what saved the DNC in 2020 was the COVID and George Floyd. Because like I said, the Democratic Party received a lot of white guilt votes from that. Sleepy Joe gets in office, 2022 comes, and the way Stacey Abrams got blown out here in Georgia, I knew that it was over. What happened to Stacey Abrams here in Georgia in 2022 represented what was going, or was it 2022 or 2021 when Stacey Abrams ran here in Georgia? Guys, please forgive me. Was it 2022 or 2021? 2022 or 2021? Or whatever. The way she was blown out here in Georgia and how Georgia flipped red, back to red, I knew it was over. I knew that stood a representation of the entire Democratic Party and how things were going to play out. So it's over. It's done. Listen, Kamala Harris is going to, if Kamala, here we go. Let me back up. Anybody not named Michelle and Barack Obama they're going to get killed. They're going to get. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be. You guys have no idea how Trump is going to blow these folks out. Nobody deals with Kamala. You guys are better off keeping Biden. If you really think Kamala has a shot, you are on that narcotic. You are on that narcotic. Nobody. I lived in California, born and raised. Ain't nobody. Kamala doesn't stand a chance. It's gonna be ugly. In fact, Kamala runs. New York is in play. Kamala runs. In fact, Kamala runs. Trump might be in a position like Reagan, where I think Reagan won like four. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Kamala Harris? I mean, I'm sorry. Did Trump win like four? I'm sorry. Did Reagan win like 49 states? Did Trump win like 49 states? I'm sorry. Did Reagan win like because Trump is going to pull a Reagan or close to it if it's Kamala. She's just not. I think Kamala is more disliked than Biden. Okay, so Colin, it was so Reagan won like 49 states that year, right? That election cycle. Kamala's not going to do better. Alan, I'm telling you right now, Kamala Harris is not doing better than Biden. That is wishful thinking. Kamala Harris is not doing better than Biden at all. We might see another Reagan situation, like Colin says, Reagan Mondale. Well, I think Reagan won like 49 states. I'll say this: Trump versus Kamala Harris. New York's in play. I still don't think California's in play because California's just gone too far off the deep end. But I'll say this: if they don't have an open, if they don't contest if the Democratic Party doesn't have an open at their DNC, if they don't contest for the position, and it's Kamala Harris, Trump is going to win. He's winning all the swing states. He's going to win. So that's Minnesota. Hey, hell, Trump might even win Illinois. So Trump is going to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Um, he might even win Illinois, which I don't think is considered a swing state. Arizona, Nevada. Like this is going to be ugly. Yeah, no, yeah, nobody likes Kamala. If let me play. Hold on, let's play our favorite Kamala clip. This is Kamala. This is the Democratic nominee. Here we go. This is the Democratic nominee right here. Here we go. This is our, hold on. This is our favorite clip. You guys know I had to pull this up. I almost forgot. Hold on. I almost forgot about this. Hold on. Here we go.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country. Right?
Y'all, let's run that back. We got to run that back.
Equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country. Right?
Kamala Harris, y'all. Kamala Harris. Hold on. But for real, I would like to hear from team Vote Blue no matter who. Like, let me know, give me your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about team Vote Blue no matter who. I mean, team Vote Blue no matter who. Give me your honest opinion on Kamala Harris. Let me hear the cope. Let me go ahead and hear it. Links in the chat room. If you guys want to call in after the conversation, go ahead. Please call in after the conversation. But we are here. Link is in the chat room. Once again, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, please click on the link and you're more than welcome to call in. Link is in the chat room. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I didn't.
Are you really shocked, Alan? I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked.
Right. I'm shocked because I just thought that Joe was going to be just that stubborn. But for what I'm watching, he ran out of money. that Trump is basically out raising money, and he can't get any money. He's matter of fact losing money, and so at the end of the day, it was the money that forced him out, the donors. There just wasn't enough to sustain him for the next 3.5 months, to the point where they're talking about maybe he might have to have issues keeping the lights on in certain instances. So he had to go. Plus, he's sick. This new strain of COVID is really hitting old people hard. So he's not well. He can't campaign. He's losing money. So I'm not, and this would be a key time where he'd have to be out campaigning, and just got sick at the wrong time. So he's gone. As far as Kamala's concerned, I think she could do better than Biden.
And you spoke in that rock. Alex. That rock.
I think she could do better because at this point, anybody can do better than Biden. Because we're not even talking about policies at this point. We're talking about whether or not the person is competent.
Alan Biden,
and cognitively.
Alan Biden was the best shot they had. Outside of that, if it's somebody not named Obama, Kamala is going to do worse than Biden, hands down. This lady is so misliked. The way she panders to Black people. Oh my God. Don't get me started. This is going to be ugly.
Oh no, I don't like her, and she's going to lose. I didn't say she was going to win. I said that she could do better than Biden at this point because I think people.
No, hold on. Yamoja, no, the Indian origin CEOs at top tech firms, they're dumping money into Trump. They already said that.
Yeah,
I'll pull the video up. Nah, they're all these Bay Area, Silicon Valley CEOs. They riding with Trump. They already said it.
Yeah, they are.
They're already riding with Trump. That's done. Nah.
They can't wait for the tax cuts. They want that. They want that back.
Yeah, they riding with Trump. They already came out and said it.
Yeah, nobody. And thing is that she claimed Indian for all those years, but nobody sees her as Indian. And so nobody really claims her as that. So it's interesting. Like I said, I'm shocked. I thought the old man was more stubborn, but he bowed out gracefully, and now it's Kamala. Plus, you got to keep in mind the only person who could spend the money that's been raised so far is Harris legally.
Right.
So that's pretty much the reason why they're almost forced to have to go with her at this point. They can't just bring in Gavin Newsom, which is what they'd rather do.
He does worse.
I don't know. Gavin Newsom's out of central.
Listen. If I'm Donald Trump, and I'm in a debate against Gavin Newsom, all I gotta do is show videos of Skid Row in LA and smash and grabs in the Bay Area, soft on crime.
They're screwed. I've said this from the beginning. The Democrats are screwed regardless. Michelle Obama has zero interest in doing politics. And so the Democrats are screwed because the people on the left never developed a cohesive a platform, and never developed any young talent who wasn't somebody controversial like Kamala Harris or Beto O'Rourke or any of these other people that they like.
Whatever happened to Beto O'Rourke?
They know he can't win.
Whatever happened to him? He was like the guy for a minute.
They realized he couldn't win. Him and his boyfriend have a baby, and I guess their husband has a baby.
No, that's Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I've confused them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have not put out anybody who's a viable candidate. The only person who's on the horizon who might do something, again, you can say what you want about Gavin Newsom and how he governs.
Man,
there is a look that Gavin Newsom, man, they do movies with people who look like Gavin Newsom as president out in California. So believe, as shallow as that sounds, he looks like the president. He looks like he should be in charge of something. And that goes a long way. As opposed to an old man with his mouth agape and, looking old and tired. So I think if Gavin Newsom was to do it, that would be their way of getting rid of Kamala, because there's a law that you can't have two people from the same state on a ticket.
Really?
Yeah, you can't have two people from the same state on a ticket. So she can't choose Gavin Newsom, and if they want Gavin Newsom, they got to get rid of Kamala.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't have two people. There's never been two people from one state. It's illegal. You can't do that. They have to be from two separate states.
You sure?
Absolutely certain.
Oh, okay, I never knew that. Al, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, greetings, my brother, and the
Al,
chat.
you got an AC going or fan going? You got something?
Oh
going?
yeah. You know what? I'm doing some work on the other side, but you know what? When I finish, I'll come back on Dynasty. I don't want it to obstruct.
It's real loud. Go ahead, T. Khalid.
No problem.
Let me just
Hey, yeah, man. Can y'all hear me? So I'm walking outside to my car.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
All right. Yeah, man. This is I'm kind of 50-50 on this, man. I'm kind of 50-50 on this because I think we shouldn't underestimate the emotionality and the low IQ of the American population, man. There were a lot of people who said they will vote for Biden even if they have to roll them out on a wheelchair. And I think we're underestimating the media. The media, I mean, and we all can attest to this. When you debate people on Donald Trump, do they ever tell you what policies they don't like about Trump, or do they always tell you something about some personality characteristic of his, or Trump said something about Central Park 5, Trump said S-hole countries? They don't go into policies because unfortunately, a lot of Americans don't care about policy. They care about if you're relatable to them. And this is why the country remains in decline and a lot of the corrupt elites remain in power because the American populace, especially the FBA community, demands nothing from them. So I think Kamala Harris is probably going to get all the black women vote. I think she's going to secure the black women vote.
I know a lot of sisters that can't stand Kamala. And in fact, T, I'm gonna say this, T. I know a lot of sisters that she ain't black.
I hope so, man. But when you look at the Breakfast Club, man, you got Charlemagne the God.
Man, but T, you gotta understand. I mean, she quit the last time she ran for president. She had to drop out. What's that tell you?
Yeah. But you know what, Donis? The Democrats are in a pickle because they do all this DEI pandering, and black women, quote unquote, make up the Democrat base. If they were to replace Kamala Harris, they're going to piss a lot of liberal black women off. Now, I don't know if the independent and conservative black women will care, but the liberal black women are going to be crying about, well, how dare you not pick a black woman when the black woman's always stood side by side with the Democrat Party. That's exactly what's going to happen, man. So the Democrats are in a real pickle, man. But, I'm really interested to see how black men are going to respond. That's what really, because like I said, I don't think it's worth our time trying to convince black women to not vote Democrat or be independent because it's just not going to happen on the emotional front. I do think we need to continue to focus on black men, and I'm really curious to see if black men are going to still get behind Kamala Harris, despite her record in California where she was very harsh on black men and having these bad rulings against them.
And harsh on black women with the truancy laws.
They don't care about that, man. It's it's interesting, but listen, Kamala actually did a very smart move. You noticed last week she made sure she was at that AKA rally in pink and green.
Well, she's an AKA, so
right. But as soon as she did that, then you started hearing black women. If they don't pick her, then they pretty much are threatening to blow the whole Democratic Party.
Exactly.
But that's what the Democratic Party gets. That's what they get.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And it's all started. And this all started in 2016 when those BLM women bum rushed Bernie Sanders. Was like, say her name, say her name, say her name. That's what all this shit. That's what the DNC gets.
And bro, but here's what black men got to step in, because why? You see, this is the problem I have. Like, black women should not be setting the political agenda in terms for black people, because the Democrat Party, they're catering to black women because we got to give black women a little credit. They're more active politically. They're more louder politically. They actually issue threats. Like, why do y'all think we got Brittany Griner back for the world's most dangerous weapon trader? Because a lot of black women made a lot of noise about that, and like black men, we sit quiet and silent on the sidelines, or we say dumb things like we need to follow our black women. Like we don't take leadership positions, and that's why we are watching the Democrats sit there and skip over the black man and cater to black women. And it's like black men have got to take a more active leadership role because the woman should be following our lead. But it seems like, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of black men are following what black women do politically.
Hey, let me read this real quick. I'll pass it to Delroy. So this is Jasmine Crockett. If you guys don't know Jasmine Crockett, she's the one that called, what's her name? Taylor Green, bleach body, butch body, whatever. And so she's a U.S. representative. She's a black woman. Well, I hope the geniuses that push the most consequential president of our lifetime out have a plan. Who in the hell couldn't sell the MF accomplishments and win over a 34-time convicted felon who isn't even allowed to operate businesses in the state of New York? All that shit's about to change. And therefore should automatically be disallowed from, say, running the country, and his entire team is Project 2025. Joe wasn't the problem. Dems were. So they're already, so Khalid, they're already starting to blow up the party. I know one thing. I will only work for at Kamala Harris. If it's anyone other than her, enjoy campaign season. I hope all of my disenchanted colleagues are able to find some walking shoes and get to work, because I will not. Full stop. What's your thoughts, Khalid? T.
No, man. No, man. You're right, bro. This is what, and part of what you said earlier is correct. This is what the Democrats get, bro. The black liberal woman is going to force Kamala Harris to the forefront. And to be honest, I kind of take back what I said. This probably is Trump's better outcome. Because Kamala Harris, right, she's so unlikable, man.
She's always going to get blown out.
Yes,
And then you got women like Jasmine Crockett who they're just going to try to bully everybody. And people are tired of that shit.
Yeah, she has this fake sister girl personality. It's so fake. You can tell she doesn't hang around black people, man. It's just, smoking weed before Tupac dropped this album, talking about she was listening to Pac in the 80s. This is what white liberals do to black people to pander. Like, everyone got that photo of her holding up that Wakanda Forever sign. Like, she panders. She doesn't deal with black people like that. I don't even think she sees herself as black. I think she sees herself as more Indian. And in fact, the headlines on newspaper was calling her the first Indian American to make it to the Senate. She only became quote unquote black when she's running for president. And I mean, you're president and vice president. And we only got to see if the black community is smart enough to wake up and we're not just some lemmings who's going to still fall in line.
Go ahead, Delroy.
Hey, everybody. For the first time in my life, I feel sorry for Kamala Harris.
Why?
She's my Jamaican half sister. But let me just straighten out for everybody. Ain't nobody gonna vote for her. Her father don't like her because she deny her. She don't talk about her Jamaican ancestry. All she talk about is the Indians, and that's it. Right? Her father wrote an article in the Jamaican newspaper, right? Telling people what type of person she is. And he does not like her. Okay? No one is going to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm telling you, I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry that they throw in the lines then now, right? Because she's going to take the hit. She's a scapegoat. And that's what's going to happen. I know no woman that's going to vote for Kamala Harris.
That's what I'm saying.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay? I know a lot of women. They're not going to vote for Kamala. My mama is not going to go for. She's Democrat. She's not voting for Kamala Harris. She's voting for Trump.
I disagree.
Okay.
Al,
Well, you can disagree all you want, brother. But I'm telling you, my mom.
Can I explain?
Hold on, bro. My mom is a Democrat. Okay, all her life. She voted for Trump the last time, and she's going to vote for Trump this time. Okay. That's what's going to happen. And like I said, I know a lot of women. Ain't none of them voting for they may have voted for Biden, but ain't none of them voting for Kamala Harris. Period. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna say this. and I love my sister to death, and I don't want to sound misogynistic or whatever the word is, or I don't want to sound like I'm against black women. They set up the Democratic Party. Liberals have set up black women for failure. Like after the
Yep.
ever since that Black Lives Matter stunt, when those women took that money and ran to the all white neighborhoods with $60 million of white guilt money. Chauvinistic, thank you, Emotion. The Democratic Party's done. Because, like you said, they're gonna blame this on Kamala. Jasmine Crockett is in here talking about if Kamala don't run, they're gonna blow the party up. They done with the sisters are done. Like they done. They already got rid of all the DI programs and affirmative action, and you see what's going on with the Fearless Fund. Like this is the end of Black Girl Magic. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound negative. I love my sisters. I do. My sisters are some of my biggest supporters, but this is the end of Black Girl Magic. Like this is, oh goodness, it's about to be so ugly. If Kamala, because it's a lose-lose. She runs, she loses, she don't run. They said they're gonna blow up the Democratic Party. So but hey, this is what they wanted. Like I knew it was gonna happen years ago.
You're going to see black women at the DNC protesting, Black Girls Matter, and saying, we the ones that held up Democratic Party. I'm telling you, the black liberal women are going to be loud, and I'm going to sit back and watch and enjoy it. And I think Trump should be quiet and watch them just self-implode. And you know what? The thing about it is Kamala Harris, like I said, she doesn't speak to black men at all. I haven't heard her say anything policy-wise towards black men. Every time she speaks about policies, always put LGBTs, women, and immigrants. That's it. She never mentions black men. So I'm curious to see if black men, knowing that they will be absolutely ignored and pushed to the side for immigrants and gays and women, if they're going to still vote for her, because it is not in our interest to. And I'm telling you, this election is really going to all right, I'm not worried about the women, I'm worried about the men. This election is going to determine where the black man is politically, intellectually. If we got a bunch of sheep, or at least if 30% of us has politically evolved.
I don't think we're going to get 30% of black men. I think a good benchmark would be getting about 20. You get about 15 to 20% of black men to shift over. That changes things significantly.
Alan, I don't know, man. I know a lot of brothers that vote for Trump, and now that it's Kamala, put it like this: I'm in a couple of group chats that the minute Biden just quit, they're like, "What the fuck? Ain't nobody voting for Kamala." I don't know, Alan. I don't know. The majority of women, I just know I know a lot of women who cannot stand Kamala.
Gotcha.
Black
and I would think the same way that you guys do, and the women in my circle, for the most part, would be that way. But when I get back into the school, and you have the women up there, and I get with all the sorors who I work with.
But Alan, you gotta understand, the sorors are such a small percentage of black Americans.
But all the people from the Divine Nine are going to vote. And
that's not true. I'm Divine Nine. I'm not doing it. I know Sarah. I know a lot of Divine Nine. I'm not going to say the majority, but I know a lot of Divine Nine that not voting for Biden. They're definitely not voting for Kamala.
I'm willing to bet you that the majority of the people in the Divine Nine are going to vote for.
Yeah, but Alan, that's such a small number in the grand scheme.
That's a big number of black people.
No, it's not. I'm a Kappa. I'm Divine Nine. It's such a small number. And I'm in a lot of groups. Like, no, she's gonna get the majority of the Divine Nine vote, but it's such a small number. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Then you have a lot of the Divine Nine. Even women are like, they're not dealing with Kamala.
Yeah, I kind of.
Yeah, here we go. We got Brian, who's a Q. I'm Divine Nine. I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm here. Here goes another one. Another Divine Nine. And in fact, Yamoja, I want to say, is Kamala's sorority sister. And she ain't voting for it. So, Alan, I'm telling you, nah.
Okay. Well, maybe you guys are seeing something I'm not seeing, and maybe the fact that I live in Baltimore and teach, I'm in a bubble that I can't see out of. Maybe that's what it is. But I do know that the the ski weave is always been very has always been very, very supportive and very, very
Yeah,
into
man.
her. So
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
yeah. Hey, Mr. Sandman, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, yeah. So the thing is, I wouldn't be too confident about this new coming that Biden is stepping down, mainly because if you look at the way the things are turning out is, or the next presidential debate is September the 10th, the day before 9/11. Okay, so if you read in between the lines, we already know what's going on here. They've already put it in the news cycle that Iran might have been behind the assassination attempt on uh, uh, a president or candidate, the presidential candidate Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump was also in office when he killed one of Iran's top military generals when he was in office. Okay, so the day before, so we had assassination attempt on the presidential candidate. We have Trump, and the next presidential debate is the day before 9/11, and we also know that Trump won the last debate in between Biden and Trump. However, he didn't do a very good job. It's just that Biden was just completely out of it, and incoherent in his speech. So if you get yourself like a halfway decent candidate on the Democratic side who know how to debate and at least express themselves in a coherent way, it should be a lot easier to sway the public. Now, me personally, I'm undecided, and I was actually starting to lean towards the Republicans after the RNC because I watched that closely, and I thought that Trump was saying a lot of less incendiary talking points that I think could hopefully break down a lot of the turmoil and the division in the country. So I was starting to lean towards uh, Trump. However, long term, I don't necessarily believe the policies that the Republican Party is necessarily the best for the country when it comes to the economics and the financial situation that we're in. I personally feel that a lot of the policies that Trump is trying to push, the Republicans are trying to push, aren't in the best interest of the country economically in the long term, because they're trying to go back to fossil fuel energy and depend it on the petrodollar. And I believe that there needs to be a new economic infrastructure to push things. So yeah, I wouldn't get too confident. I mean, of course, Kamala Harris isn't liked, and most men in the whole entire country won't be supporting her. However, she will have of all of the females, especially all the black females, with the Roe versus Wade. Also, she she can she's coherent and she can debate Trump much better than Biden did.
She's getting blown out. She's getting blown out. Yeah, she's getting blown out.
I think he's making an excellent point. I think that's what I've been trying to say from the beginning, that we're talking about basic function and competence at this point. And as long as she stands up there and can actually articulate a point and hammer home the things that are important to liberals, like Joe Biden was so out of it, he couldn't even talk about abortion and all the so-called woman's right to choose the way that liberals wanted him to do. He just wasn't capable of being quick enough to make those points when there were ample opportunities for him to do so. The fact that Kamala is going to be able to jump right on that, and she may not be the smartest person out there, but she's quick enough to be able to make certain points. As long as she's able to do that, she should do better.
Points like what? So let me ask you a question. Did the last debate you saw Kamala in, how do you think she did?
I'm not a Kamala fan. I didn't think she
Yeah,
did.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like quick points like what? Like have you ever
well, okay, this is what I mean. And this is the example I gave. There are plenty of times.
So what I'm saying, all Donald Trump has to do, right, is talk about her bragging about smoking weed, her truancy laws, The way when black men were supposed to be released from jail, she didn't allow them, and then being used for slave labor. Like this shit is an easier layup than. Go
I don't
ahead.
think
Gonna
Trump is
lose.
going to do that, man. Because I don't think, he didn't even call Joe Biden out when Joe Biden made that comment to Charlemagne talking about you ain't black. Like Trump, to me, he's not a good debater, man. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to talk about open borders.
Open borders. Like, I mean, it's all Trump has to do is focus on her record in California.
That would be the smart thing to do. And listen, like I said, I'm not saying Kamala can win because I don't believe she can win. The only thing I'm arguing is that she can do better than a man who doesn't have his faculties. That's all.
Yeah, guys, links in the chat room if you want to call in and ask the conversation. Yeah, Matrice. Well, I don't think he'll bring up Matrice Richardson. I don't think he'll bring that up. But I mean, should bring up Willie Brown. I mean, no one. He won't do that. But
He won't do that.
I mean, come on, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like me living in California, not living there now, but from California. Kamala has so many skeletons, man. Oh God.
Oh, there are black people from California who I know who would never never like Kamala. They voted for her because she was on the ticket, but they didn't like Kamala because they would tell me straight up that she was responsible for sending a lot of black men to prison. She was responsible for people who she knew were innocent going to prison, and she never claimed to be black until she ran for president. That was the first time they'd ever heard her. She used to correct people in California and say she was Asian.
Bro, I think the other
So they
dangerous
need
thing
a
about Kamala,
few tapes of that, and that's gonna hurt her.
I think the dangerous thing about Kamala Harris running is her identity, her being a quote unquote black and a woman. Because now, if you're a man and you try to criticize her, they're going to say, well, you're only criticizing her because she's a black woman. And I'm telling you, they're going to use that shield a lot to shut people down, to scare people from bringing up her record, to cancel people.
I just don't think it's gonna work with the white women. Like, I'm telling you, like what happened to Hillary Clinton and what happened to Stacey Abrams in Georgia is gonna be worse to Kamala Harris. Like, I mean, maybe some black women will, be like, yeah, he's bullying the black woman, and a couple of sisters will get mad. But outside of that, man, they're not. I mean, the Democratic Party is such far in a deep hole that that shit don't matter. Koja, go ahead, Koja. Unmute yourself, Koja. Koja, unmute yourself. See, listen, when you guys call in on these Obama phones, you got to be ready. Let me pass. Al, go ahead, Al. Unmute yourself, Al.
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry about that earlier, Dennis. My take on this is, the question is, did America ever elected a female president? That's one. Number two, has there been a candidate that came into the race this late, won an election? The time is too short. And also the guy that they're going to be running against, who is Trump, there's so many coincidences that recently happened. They're actually running in his favor. So to me, at the moment, whoever is going to be running under the Democrat ticket is just going to be wasting their time. And I think Trump already had this in the bag. The only thing that they have to fight on is what they call damage control, because the Democratic Party has been totally damaged by Biden. I mean, the brand is gone. It's the same thing that we have over here with the Conservative Party that just been wiped out. It's a similar trend. At the moment, I think the Democratic Party is trying to manage, all the damage that they actually unleashed into the American people over the years. I cannot see Democrat winning this election, in any form, in any way. I think Trump is going to have it, and the only thing is depend on how many seats he's going to have in both houses. This is a question that you should be talking about, or you should be asking the people, not who is going to win it. It's already done. That's my take on it, Dennis.
All right, cool. Let me put the guys links in the chat room, and also hit the like button if you have not hit that like button yet. Please hit that like button again. If you have not hit that like button, please hit that. Please hit that like button.
And last I heard when I was listening to the Roland Martin show, he was stating,
Oh God, you listen to Roland Martin. God damn.
well, you got to get both sides of the story, both
Man, Roland
Democrats and
Martin.
Republicans.
Oh
I
God.
watched it.
Martin. Oh, God. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he was saying that the main issue that the Biden team was having, campaign team was having, is they're losing support from the donors, and the main reason why the donors didn't want to give him any support is because they look at Trump as an easy candidate to beat, mainly because he has so many legal issues and so many so much dirt in his past that any halfway coherent candidate should be able to beat Trump. So
Do you really believe that?
I don't know if I necessarily believe that at all. I mean, yeah, he's pretty much got like all of the conservatives and the whites, all that locked down for 100%. But I believe
A
that
lot of white nationalists don't like him, man. You have to stop repeating media talking points.
That's why we need. The minute you said Roland Martin, next is going to be Joy Reid. You don't understand the number of white nationalists that came out and publicly supported Biden.
Oh yeah, boy.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they want that chaos.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, man. You got to stop listening to, and you're right, Mr. Sandman. I do agree that you should listen to both sides, but freaking Roland Martin.
Well, Roland Martin, he's been, he has a lot of inside information. He talks to
Roland Martin.
That guy is not credible. That is an emotional black man.
See, Roland Martin got kicked out of the inner circle when Hillary Clinton lost. You have not seen that man interview Kamala or Joe Biden. Roland Martin ain't got shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah, he regularly has like Congress people and senators on.
Oh man, Roland does not have anything. Roland got booted out of the inside circle when he was tap dancing with Hillary Clinton, and when Hillary Clinton lost, that he got kicked out of the inner circle.
Okay.
Roland Martin and D.L. Hughley are just the black attack dogs of the Democratic Party to get Negroes.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
just round those Negroes up. That's it.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, the only thing I can add to what I was saying earlier is if someone like Michelle Obama come on the ticket, or you have, a good, African American brother who's actually out there for the good cause of the general good, and also you have a decent, white American who's a young guy, who is actually entwined with the population, and who is not into this LGBT or this a new agenda teaching our kids about body parts and stuff like that in school, because these are the kind of things that people are totally against. If America can find such candidates, I think Trump would be struggling to win the ticket, but to win the election. But as long as people like Kamala Harris or the same people under the Biden agenda continues to run the Democratic Party, I cannot see it happening, from this side of the pond, because I don't live in America. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing online and speaking to my family over there, and from people over here also. And at the same time, we know, at the moment the working class, are suffering from place to go, because the working classes, have been abandoned all over the West. That's from America to Europe. They need somewhere to go. So if someone is going to come and clamor for the working class, I believe they will actually get the votes and they can actually defeat Trump. But I cannot see that happening. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, but also too, and I'm gonna pass it to Kamala versus Trump. We have to take it into consideration as well. Kamala has a white husband. I don't know how that's gonna look.
Oh yes, that's true. Good point.
I mean, we have to take that into consideration as well.
Black women don't care about that though.
But black liberal men will still vote for her, man. I like black liberal men. I don't put it past them, man. They are just as emotional as their female counterparts. So I don't put it past them.
The divestors actually love that.
I don't know, but see, we're not talking the divestors. We're talking the white folks who didn't.
Oh,
that voted against Hillary for Trump. that voted against Stacey Abrams, because there's no more white guilt votes anymore. Those are gone. The white guilt is over.
Yeah, no, that's done. That's
Yeah,
done. But but they have nothing else. They have nothing else to run this woman on. She hasn't really had an opportunity to do anything because she wasn't chosen for her competency. She was chosen by what she was perceived to be.
Right.
And she was given immediately after the election. Biden, who never really liked her, sent her to the border to do an impossible task of solving the border crisis, basically sabotaging her. So she's actually been sabotaged from within. And I hope that a lot of people, a lot of Black women particularly, can see the pattern that a lot of these prominent Black women in the Democrat Party do a lot of footwork for them, and at the end of it, don't receive any positions, don't receive any tangible benefits for their effort. Whether we talk about Simone Sanders, whether we're talking about Abrams, or even Kamala, how Biden has treated her in the since he's been president. It's she's already a diminished candidate as a result of what Biden allowed the perception to be of her. She's going to be working from digging herself out of a deep hole in terms of changing the perception of her going forward, when that shouldn't be for somebody who is basically an incumbent.
Now let me pass the Trump versus Kamala versus Trump. Go ahead.
Dynas.
Hey.
Hi, Dynas.
Were you predicting this last time we talked, or no?
I absolutely did predict this. 100%. 100%. And what I told you was that if they were going, and I also said if they were going to win, being the Democrats, it will be Black people. It will be Black people. And we are already seeing everything's coming into fruition. The woman that you just had on your screen, Jasmine, the Congresswoman, there's something very specific about her, very unique. She is the Congresswoman for District 30 within DFW in Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth. The woman who had that position is a woman by the name of Eddie Bernice Johnson. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She actually was the very first woman to take this seat after redistricting gave Texas further, well, as you understand, the electoral college votes, for further representation. Just like we're seeing now, Texas picked up, I think, 2 or 3 seats, while other states lost, mainly being New York. So we all know everyone gets, what is that, 535 or 538? That number's set, and it's divvied up amongst the states. Texas picked up further seats. That's how Jasmine got this seat. Eddie Bernice Johnson picked up the first inaugural seat in 1991. She was the only person to hold this seat, a Black woman in Texas, the only person for over 30 years. The only reason why she no longer has this seat is because she passed away. Then comes Jasmine, who came in to fill the void. Jasmine has never been elected. She basically was summoned. She was chosen because Eddie Bernice Johnson died in office. So everybody's up for election, all House members, and Jasmine herself is technically up for election. I mean, it's every 2 years. I mentioned this because it is so important, and she's mentioned this herself. Jasmine, she's like 42 or 43 years old. She's young, and she looks 10 years younger. The people who have come to her, because this seat, District 30, is going to be Black women only forever. Right here in Dallas-Fort Worth, we have this, in a very red state, you have this one seat. So when I say how important, because Dallas is very liberal, but the rest of Texas, just like Georgia, is red. You know that, Dynas. Texas is exactly like Georgia. The larger cities are blue, majority Black people. And of course, Texas has 2 of the Black cities, Dallas and Houston. Georgia, of course, having Atlanta, the Mecca. And you see these liberal pockets. All of these liberal pockets, this blue, is Black women. It is majority Black women. Cynthia McKinney just passed away. I'm sorry. No, Sheila. Look at me. I'm
Sheila Jackson or whatever.
Sheila Jackson, excuse me, not Christina McKinney.
Sheila Jackson Lee.
or Cynthia McKinney, excuse me, Sheila Jackson from Houston, she just passed away. So you're seeing these women, these inaugural women who are dying, and they have held their offices for decades. We cannot, when we're looking at Kamala, everyone is going to come out. And I know you heard that story, the white male prosecutor who actually brought to justice the racists who killed those 5 girls, those little kindergartners in Mississippi. Condoleezza Rice, she actually went to school with one of those little girls who died in that fire. That man who actually prosecuted, who brought to justice those criminals, he ran and he won out of nowhere. Democrat who voted for him is Mississippi Black women. Black women will come out to vote. This is just too historical. And people can bring up, and I mentioned this to you on your channel before, this whole thing, Kamala being Indian, whatever. And we have already spoken about India. Her father is a Jamaican man. You look at Kamala, you look at pictures of her in the 90s, that's a whole light-skinned Black woman. Everybody knows Kamala's a Black woman. She's AKA, we've had enough. She's with all these Black men she has dated. That conversation is done. What I mean is that when you look at Black boomers, Kamala has the look that they expect. We all know what we're talking about here, what I'm talking about. They are colorists big time. Black they are. And Kamala has that look, and she's AKA with the appropriate look. And she is qualified. She's qualified. She was what, DA, and then Attorney General of California. We're done. The woman is qualified, and she's coming in as vice president. So she's already had 4 years in the executive office. The woman is ready. She's primed and ready. So you can't call her DEI anything. People can bring up how Kamala rose to fame, whatever the Black man she was dating, the woman still did work. She did, I told you, Dinah, she did red carpet with Hotel in the 90s.
Yeah, sister, what do you think about Susan Rice? I used to like that woman.
Susan Rice is great, but she's not running right now. And she doesn't want to get involved in politics. Susan Rice is government. She's not politics. The same thing with Condoleezza Rice. Laura Bush, George W.'s wife, she was pushing hard for Condoleezza Rice to run. Black woman, Republican.
Yes.
That woman.
Yes.
Incredible. And by definition, Condoleezza Rice, Dr. Condoleezza Rice, she is FBA, ADOS. So she fits that bill. Black people will come out and vote for her. She fits that bill. And she herself was raised from her light-skinned Creole grandmother. She said it herself. And who taught her how to cook. She's a Black woman. And she knows the NFL. She was engaged to a player in the 80s. Condoleezza's a Black woman.
Is that Condoleezza Rice? Yeah.
Yes, she's a black woman. Susan Rice, she's also another Black woman. She's married to a white male, but she's a Black woman, and she's with the Obamas. Dynas, Africa is running the show. Look at what's been going on here. Dynas is Africa. You have Clarence Thomas, a Gullah Geechee man. He overturned Roe versus Wade. Something they have been wanting to do for decades. Leave it to a Black man to do it. Obama, enough said. Enough said, Obama. You can't even discuss Black male incompetency. Nobody believes it, because you can say whatever you want about Obama. He did what he wanted to do, and he did it with finesse, with that finesse. And he's running the Democrat Party. He never really liked Biden like that. Biden is just a doofus. He's a Dynas. He came in last in law school at Syracuse. He's Catholic. He's a Catholic man from the 60s. He's very, very pro-abortion, yet he still goes to mass. And he's not that bright for a Catholic kid. Last at Syracuse. He's smart, but he's like good enough. Biden, I mean, he's moved through the Senate, and they never really liked him like that because he's not that quite smart. It's just some things about him that just aggravate people. And he was the one who was against Clarence Thomas in 91, 92? That was him. You know that, Dynas. Bringing in, what's her name? You know her name. When Clarence
Anita
Hill. Thank you. He brought her. That's over here, Biden. You're going to stop the first Black male. Okay, remember, Dynas, I want to tell you something. I went to an event in DC. Dynas. It was for the CSIS, basically we're going to bring in 5G infrastructure. They're moving everything to cloud. This what's happening with this country. They're investing big time in cybersecurity, just in technology as a whole, a lot of money. When I went to this meeting, this event, Biden was there. It was a Black woman who facilitated it, a Black American woman with 3C hair, with that red Auburn sunrise hair color, energy, just Black women, wonderful energy. And one thing about his White House, I will tell you this, there's a lot of Black women, Dynas, and they all have curly, natural hair. You know this means a lot. Nobody there, this is not, I love Condi, but she comes from that generation. They're relaxed. But Biden is Black women now. Black women, you look at Corinne, natural hair, dark skin, Black women, smart, intelligent, proper. That is his White House. I'm telling you, Dynas. I voted for Trump in 16 and in 20. But you have to just make it clear. Biden brings in Black women, a lot of millennial Black women. He's very close with Clyburn.
So what happened?
I know he is, but the image, it means a lot.
Hold on. So what happened to Stacey Abrams? What happened to Kamala when she ran for president in 2020? Like, what happened to all these Black women?
So this is what I brought up to you earlier. This is what upset me. Stacey Abrams is the reason why Biden won 2020. It's him. But the thing is, Biden, Georgia Black women there needs to be a conversation. Keisha Lance Bottoms, there's some issues with her. I know them. Stacey Abrams, her behavior at times, they did not like that. Her disputing the claim that election, that pissed a lot of people off. It cost a lot of money, but she did it anyway. There needs to be some conversations. Atlanta, I'm speaking as a Black woman, but I wasn't raised here. Just some of this behavior, Georgia, that's all I'm going to say. But she did rub some people off the wrong way when she disputed the election results. So she pulled Trump before Trump.
Sister, I mean, you emphasize a lot on identity politics, like the amount of Black. Sorry, can I just say one thing? Yeah, the amount of Black people Biden brought into the Democratic Party.
Black women, yes.
But the reality is, I live in the UK. We just got rid of a party called the Conservative Party, who had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think about 7 to 8 Black MPs, members of Parliament in there, who were running things. But these Black people were part of a government that oppressed Black people in the UK than any government that I've seen in my life in this country. So I don't think it make it to me, based on my experience, what I've experienced in the UK. It doesn't matter how many Black women or Black males you have in a political party. If they're not putting in the right policies for the people, they're not actually there, for the right reasons. It's just a waste of time.
Hey, Al, but you're talking about the UK. The Congressional Black Caucus, all of them have been absolute failures to Black people, but we still put them in. Maxine Waters, James Clyburn, like a lot of these Congressional Black Caucus, they do absolutely nothing for Black people, but we keep putting them in for symbolism purposes. So you have to understand the American FBA is different from everyone else, and I think a lot of emotionality will get a lot of them, especially the Black women, on board with Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Let
me pass it to Dre first, and I'll pass it back to you. Go ahead, Dre. Unmute yourself. You got a lot of. Go ahead, Dre.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So what I would like to clear up as far as like Kamala, first of all, is not Black. She's part South Asian and part Jamaican. I don't know why people are constantly saying that she's a Black woman as if she has 2 Black parents. But I would say in terms of this topic with Joe Biden dropping out of the race, I think it's a good thing. I think that he's, for one, too sickly to still be a part of the race. And 2, I think he's too old. But I don't think that Kamala is a better choice. I think that she pretty much is going to be Joe Biden 2.0. And I think that, Trump, of course, we know Trump is going to be no better. So I'm just wondering, what can we do next? I'm really just kind of conflicted at this moment.
Respond.
Well, hold on. Go ahead, Delroy.
Drew? What you just said? He's Jamaican. He's not black. What do you mean by that?
She's not a black woman. People are constantly saying that. Now, on the Jamaican side, she may be black. We don't know, but I'm just saying that she's not anchored in blackness.
Okay, if that's what you mean, then I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, she was raised by a South Asian mother, and then she didn't really know too much about a Jamaican father like that.
Her Jamaican father is black and white. He's half black, half white.
But why are they saying that she's just a black woman?
Because we are.
Because she's
No,
running
she's
for
not. She's not just a
vice
black woman.
president.
She's
Oh,
more
well,
anchored in
continue,
being South
Jay.
Asian,
Oh, well. Okay,
a
okay.
Brahmin Indian.
You're absolutely
No, Drew is right.
respond, Dinah, may I?
You got a minute. I got past the U.S. lawyer. You got a minute. Go ahead.
Even better. I'll let U.S. lawyer. If I may speak after U.S. lawyer, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead, U.S. lawyer. Go ahead, U.S. lawyer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My first question is, how does Biden putting black women in positions help black men?
Well, black men need to answer that because they keep voting Democrats. So yeah, that's a great question.
I'm speaking to the lady there. She was providing all these statements about he puts all these black women in. First of all, he seems to select black women who are married and to white men. That's the number. That's to start up with. Second of all, it was an insult to me that he would pick a vice president and omit black men from even the selection process, or pick a black Supreme Court justice, or admit black men. I don't know how black men think that it's better to be discriminated based on gender than based on race. It makes no difference if you discriminate against me because I'm black or because I'm male. I'm still getting the same result, and I'm still subject to the same discrimination. So it doesn't necessarily help us. And a lot of the liberal policies that black women promote don't help black people, don't help black families. It's just a liberal diatribe. For instance, you promoting all these laws. It's like this last law they passed where this woman brought this last suit against Trump. Okay, and she was able to bring a sexual harassment suit in with no evidence from 20 years ago. All that does is open the door for me as a black man to be extorted. So I don't know how these policies help me. So just because she's a black woman, it doesn't help me, and I'm not benefited if you exclude me based on gender instead of based on race. It's still the same result. So I don't understand why black men should be like enthralled that Joe Biden is hiring mainly black women who are married to white men. I'm still trying to understand what the connection is for us.
Exactly the point.
That was a great point, brother.
Thank you, sir. Exactly the point I was making. Thank you.
All right,
It's just identity politics.
Dinah, may I respond?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's see here. I was just making an observation, what I noticed when I went to the White House. Just an observation. And I also have a real crazy Hunter Biden story too. He's messed up, Dinah. He really is. So I was just in DC for work. I made an observation. And of course, I myself as a black woman, it's going to resonate. That's just on me. And my second comment, what does this have to do with black men? I don't care. You're a black man. You're an adult. Figure yourself out. I don't know what you're expecting me to respond.
And you know what? And she's exactly why. Listen to her carefully.
Exactly.
Exactly why we should not support that bullshit. She just
exactly.
Told you. She just told you it don't even matter. So why do we make it matter to us? It doesn't matter to them. And she just told you to screw you over. So why would we even listen to this diatribe about, he brought black women? I don't give a damn. That doesn't affect me.
Okay. No, there are a lot of black men who are raised. There are a lot of black men who are raised underneath their mothers with no fathers. So yes, unfortunately, a lot of black men follow the lead of black women. Hold on. But oh my God.
You out.
Hold on. One mic. Let T. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, no, but black men need to hear stuff like this, because when black men honestly think that women, and this is not even black women, this is women in general, whenever women get power, they don't care about the male population. they always going to look out for the best interests of women and LGBT and those type of groups. Men are the only ones who when they get in power, not only do they look out for men, they look out for everybody. So I wish they would take Kamala versus Trump and blast what she just said. Who cares about you? So then black men will never vote Democrat, because I'm so glad she said that, because this is the game that's been played against black men for years. Yet the men, I don't even blame black women, yet the men continue to vote for people who don't care about them, who don't care about them failing, who don't care about the boys failing, who don't care about the boys not getting jobs, nothing. And we still vote for them.
Caring about me. Dynas, this is FBA 80.
So you don't think a woman can run the country?
Dynas, this is literally
No, I would never know. I
and a
would
lot
never
of these
put
other
black women.
people on your panel.
I mean, that's kind of a little misogynistic, according to how
ADOS,
some people see it.
You know what? I don't care why.
I'll vote for Candace Owens.
Tell me, take care of me. You don't care
I'm
about
Nah,
me.
that's because
Hey,
she's right
guys,
wing.
one mic. Let me read the
Not
super chat.
misogyny. That's not my call.
Let me
I'm
read
worried
the
about
super chat.
misanthropy, not misogyny.
Hold on, one mic. Let me read the super chats real quick. Frenchie XO, Africans will keep supporting Dynas. Thank you, Frenchie. I appreciate you. Jonathan Miller, married to white men or straight lesbian. Yep. FJB. Does that mean F? Does that mean
F,
Joe Biden?
F,
Okay.
like F.
Joe Biden. Yeah. Okay. Got you. Okay. Yeah. So all right. Go ahead, U.S. lawyer. Go ahead. The floor is still yours.
I'm just saying, as a male, my interest is being first of all, misandry is far more pronounced and widespread than misogyny will ever be. Okay, and it's so pronounced that people don't even call out. If you look on any show, you look on anywhere, you have women denigrated men 24 hours a day. So I'm not really worried about misogyny. That's not my issue. But I also like to know why a white woman should get ahead of me for anything. Why a black woman will put a white woman who has participated and benefited from slavery all the way up to segregation, all the way up to white women got the vote before black men did, and then stood out on the steps to make sure black men couldn't vote. So, but they will put that woman ahead of their own sons, ahead of their own brothers, ahead of their own fathers. So please, I don't really care about black women being appointed to anything, okay? Because what history has shown is what this brother just said is women will get into office and look out for other women, even the other women that historically have oppressed black men. Men get into office and they tend to look out for everybody. That's the difference, and that's why
I think you're generalizing.
Well, life is about generalizing, because there's the reason we generalize, because that's
You're trying to make it about gender and not about policy.
Well, you know what? But the problem is that all of the policies.
You're making it about like you're trying to shift it to like gender politics instead of like looking
I
at
don't
it
know
from
a single liberal woman pushing any policy that supports men.
I mean, there are women in other countries.
One mic. U.S. lawyer, the floor is yours. Please don't interrupt you.
Tell me some policies that Democratic women in this country or women in general have promoted that help black men.
I mean, I don't even think there's been too many Democratic women or women in general in politics like that, because they haven't been really represented.
Bro, you've been sleeping, bro.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from when you say that, like, you know, just having a black face in a high place is not going to do anything for us. I agree with that. But what I don't agree with is that I think you're trying to, include this whole misogynistic thing that I don't agree with. Now, I understand that misandry exists too.
Misogyny means female hate. No one on here hates women, brother. We're just criticizing. No one on
but
here
the rhetoric kind of sounds like you hate women.
That's not women hate. That's just calling a spade a spade.
I'm more worried about misandry because I'm more worried about men and black boys. So misogyny is not even a real issue. Because
no, it is an issue. It is a real issue.
No, it's a bullshit issue. Let me tell you why. Most of the so-called affirmative action goes to white women and black women, and mainly white women. So I'm not worried about whether people hate women.
Affirmative action, no, it actually benefits more white women than black women. Black women are always the ones that are put behind everybody else.
But Dre, he just proved his point.
So all I'm saying,
that's not women in general. That's white women. That's a specific group versus just the whole, women group.
The whole misogyny, mind game, mind screw doesn't work. Okay, I'm worried about misandry. Why? Because it's far more prevalent. I'm gonna tell you something. As a black man, you are far more likely to lose your house, your money, and your freedom because of your gender behind some woman than you are because of your race. You're far more likely. You're far more likely to be children. You feel like
So
you
are you
need your
saying that black
job.
women have more of an advantage over us just because they're women?
Yes, that's why I'm not worried about misogyny.
So you don't think that black women are just as oppressed as black men in this country?
Hell no, hell no. As a matter of fact, if you look at statistics, for instance, if you look at grants, matter of fact, they even looked at this once not too long ago for a stepson. If you start looking at grants and things like this, for every grant that goes to a black male, there's 20 to 40 that goes to black females. So no, they're not. As a matter of fact, you just had Goldman Sachs promising $500 million, $1 billion, whatever it's to black women. How much they pledge to black men? Nothing. So don't tell me about.
But
Don't tell
actually,
me.
black
Don't
women are
tell
more
me.
likely to get in student debt than everybody else.
That's because they get more. They get more educational opportunities than everybody else. So I mean, that naturally follows.
But for you to say that
And
black women are not
Drew,
as
do you not
oppressed,
understand,
They're
Drew?
not as oppressed. Period. Go to. Let me tell you what. Next time you go to any
nah,
court,
that's
go to
disingenuous.
any court.
Drew, do you
The
not
thing, if
understand
you're a
that when you beat
man,
the black man
you
down,
shouldn't,
the whole
you shouldn't
community
put
is
more from a
If
woman.
you commit a crime, let me tell you something. You commit a crime and a black woman commit a crime.
I got one
Yeah, if you're a man,
Hold on, one mic.
Can we return to the subject?
Hold on. No, hold on. U.S. lawyer, you got 30 seconds. I'm gonna pass it back to T. Go.
Crime. Let a black woman commit a crime. See who gets the same crime. Who gets the most time? You're not treated. So they do have far more benefits. Okay, and then also you go to court for your children and see how that works out for you. So I mean, the bottom line, or you go to jobs. Matter of fact, you just had a president, the scumbag, who just said that he was going to only select a black woman. In other words, you weren't even enough of a human being for him to consider you for vice president. And you think that's acceptable and want to talk to me about misogyny? Get out of here. That's crazy.
And bro, and this is why black men stay on the bottom, because it seems like they're so clueless about what's
Black
going
men
on
are not on
around
the
them.
bottom.
And
Black
this
men
is
are not on the bottom.
and this is why you
Black
got to
men
give
are
black
not on
women
the
their props, because
bottom.
they at least
Black men are
know
not
what
on
the
the
hell is
bottom.
going on around them. But
I just
black
feel like
men,
this is the reverse type of
I
thing
don't know
that Cynthia
what
G
Kamala
used to do.
said about black men. I don't know what the Democrats are doing to ignore black men. It's like black men, we don't know what the hell is going on, and that's
I'm
why
not
the
saying that black
Democrats
men are
walk
not
right
oppressed.
over us
I'm just saying.
and prop the woman up. And also, what you guys got to also stand is just the strategy of why they uplift women over men. Because you got to understand, the men are the protectors of their communities.
Then why
Once
are
you
you
weaken
crying
them,
over the
once you
kids?
feminize them,
You
once you
complaining
break them
all
down, guess
I mean,
what?
yeah, we're more
Anybody can
incarcerated than
run into
everybody
that
else. That's true.
community and destroy that entire community.
Just go
That's
to
why
the
they don't
community.
uplift, promote black men,
Your
or do
life.
anything good for black men. So why in the world are black men supporting a party that says to them, to their face, that we're not going to do nothing for you, that we are going to elevate your women above you, that we do see you as a bunch of misogynists? Why are black men supporting them? That's the major question. And number one is probably due to a bunch of ignorance. Number two, raised by their mothers. And yeah, it's just that. And yeah, Kamala versus Trump. And I'm not mad at her saying it. I'm glad she says this. And I'm curious to see how just beat down, broken black men are to listen to someone say that and still go and vote for Kamala Harris. That's what
I
I'm
just don't
curious to
understand.
see.
I just don't understand how black men can be feel insecure about black women when we all know that can't nothing get done unless the man is involved in it. I mean, women can have play a part in it administratively, but to actually get something moving, it has to be the guy, the men that lead the way. Whether it be a white man, a black man, a Chinese man, we the one that put in all the work. So I don't even understand why you would be insecure about a black woman, taking office or and leading in
That's what I'm saying.
administrative
Like,
places.
why does gender have to play a part in this?
No one is insecure about that. I don't think y'all are listening to what I'm saying. I've said repeatedly black men need to get more involved because they're not. Unfortunately, they're not. They are followers. There's too many black men who are sitting around, and a lot of it is due to our broken family structure. Our broken family structure has a bunch of men raised around women where they don't know how to lead, look up stuff, clueless about what's going on around them, don't know what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, don't know that the border's open, don't know none about these social agendas. They're just clueless. It's bad. And yes, that is on black men to wake up. But no, I'm not going to sit there just because a black woman is running and she's black, I'm going to be cool with it. Hell no. Because I'm still looking out for the border situation. I don't want her to push all this LGBT feminist agenda and make that law. That does not benefit me as a man. And yes, I can speak out of it because I have a distinct policy difference. I don't care if it's a man pushing that. If it's a Democrat man pushing all these harmful agendas towards me as a black man, guess what? I'm not going to support him either because it's the policy difference. And you're not going to hide behind I'm a woman and I'm black, so then you can't say anything and get all these simps jumping in the way saying like, yeah, don't you say anything about her because she's a woman. That's that simp black man mentality.
I
You
ain't
can
no simp. I'm
criticize a
just
woman.
saying, like,
You
we
can
don't need to be
criticize a
disrespecting
woman
women.
without
Yeah.
hating her. But because I have not said anything degenerative or said black women are dumb. I didn't say anything. I'm talking about policy and agendas being pushed by liberals, especially black liberals in the Democrat Party.
Hey, T.
Simp version of the black man who's raised by his mother just got to jump in and cape because you're not intellectually logical enough to
No,
take
I'm
your
logical.
emotions
I
out
see
and
both sides of
listen to
everything.
the
I point
point.
out Miss Sandry as
Listen
well.
to the point and take your emotions
I'm
out of
not
it.
saying that Miss Sandry doesn't exist within this whole context, but what I'm saying is that, like, the fact that you're overlooking misogyny is a problem. See, this is the reason why black women don't feel protected, because we got black men on this
I
panel
don't
basically
defend
doing
black
hit
men
pieces
attacking
against.
black women. I think those men are weak. Listen, I've always said, y'all seen women jump on this platform and a bunch of guys attack them. I don't even attack women like that because I don't even care about them like that. I don't let women rattle me. I don't care what women say. I'm really focused on black men. So to talk about the misogyny, yes, I do agree. I do think that black men who are constantly attacking black women is an issue, but I don't worry
Because
about
you don't
them
have to
like
poke out
that.
your chest to prove your masculinity. You can still be securing your masculinity without doing hit pieces on women.
What are you talking about, dude? Who's talking about?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I ain't voting for no Kamala Harris. Go ahead, Kamala.
No, I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm just saying that, like, just the fact that, like, people.
Go ahead, Kamala versus Trump. Go ahead, and I'll pass it back to Delroy. Go ahead, Kamala versus Trump.
Okay, so Dynas, I guess I'll just say real quickly just about myself. I voted Trump 16 and in 20, but
Are you voting for Trump in 2024?
I'm now undecided because at the end of the day, they are I am a little worried.
So you're voting for
Wait,
Kamala?
Dynas, that I don't know. Just the MAGA. It's just that Dynas, I'm by myself. I live by myself, and the racism is just too much for me to handle. But
Go find a husband. Go find a husband.
I know I should. I know that's true. That's easier said than done. So I'm going to remain, I hoard of capitalism. I love money. I make a lot of money. I got to think about my security too. I have to. I have to be honest with myself.
So Pocket ain't worried about you.
Who?
MAGA, they ain't not worried about you.
Oh no, they're too racist. Okay, here's the thing. There's something that you said. I mentioned about Dynas. You said that who knows how to. You mentioned about doing racism right. Like you just. I think you said Trump knows how to do racism.
I never said that. I never said that.
I don't know. Okay, then I'm sorry.
That never came out of my mouth.
Oh, sorry about that. I heard something on your panel one day. But anyway, my point is that it's just too racist. And the Trump voters, they don't do racism right. I'm just speaking about my own experience. I'm speaking about what I've been going through recently. I mentioned it.
You said that a black woman whooped your ass.
Yeah, she was too much for you to deal with. And
the
white response.
What's that got to do with MAGA?
Because they did not do racism right. They did not. I'm not going to be a homeowner and deal with any type of this racism by these black women. I'm sorry.
This is why men got to lead in politics, man. Because this is ridiculous.
I'm just speaking of my experience. I'm just of the belief, Dynas. This is how I feel right now. I'm open and change my mind. I'm worried that Trump's people who are super duper racist, that my problem is that they will stay not racist. They will let business commence. They will make money, mind their own business. They will until their racism is triggered. That's what's scaring me. And that's what I'm dealing with now. They're perfectly fine. But when you bring in a change agent, and that change agent, what I'm dealing with now is either white women or Black American women. They wreak a level of havoc that is too much for me to bear.
So basically, like Jonathan said, you voting for your feelings, not like You voting
I'm
for your
voting. I'm voting for security.
So,
Yeah,
so find a man.
I know that's true, Dennis. But I don't want to. I just people in my home just stresses me out.
How old
Can
are
I
you?
ask you something right quick?
Hold on, Dre. How old are
Dennis,
you?
but Dennis, I said I
How
voted
old
Trump 16 and 20. I did. I told you.
Okay, I'm saying, how old are you?
I'm not sharing that with you.
So your Igbo father, how does he feel about you not having a husband?
I know, Dennis.
Go back to
My mother's in Kano right now too. I know. I got a phone call from her. She's in
Yeah.
Kano. I know.
Okay.
I know. And then my mother told me like Dinah, she had the conversation with my sister too. It's just like, Donna, you have to find protection, darling. I'm like,
Yeah.
mother, leave me alone.
Negroes are still dying under Democrats. What are you talking about? Go to a blue city.
We got to make a correlation here, and I want to be very careful. I love my
My
sister.
bad.
No, you good, T. But I want to be very careful. I love my sister. I love my sisters. I want to be very careful when I say this. Is it safe to say that since the majority of Black single women are voting for Joe Biden or Democratic Party?
Are you asking me that question?
I'm asking in general. I'm noticing a correlation.
It's just Dynas, let's be honest. Dynas,
Honestly,
general protocol remains the same, Dynas. I don't like Kamala's policies. The Democrats are batshit crazy, in my opinion. I made a lot of money under Trump. Dynas, I got into NVIDIA that in 2016. I got into NVIDIA early because that's what I do. The stock markets love Trump. The stock markets love Trump. I made a lot of money, close to a lot on W2. On W2, I made a lot of money. And a lot of people have mentioned that to me as well. And I've said on your channel, Dynast, that black people do well. They do make money under Republicans. George W. Bush, Black Gen X, and the early Black millennials, they did well under George W. I'm just right
Most of
now.
us don't.
I'm just
Okay, well, let me do this.
if I may just land.
I hear. I got it. But I just want to pass the wisdom never sleeps, our elder, because
How you doing, nephew?
I'm doing good.
How you doing, Take up there?
Going on, man?
Everybody, great. This is very interesting. The conversation always goes to, and like you said, there's a few men on here that understand the weakness of a lot of men that we have. And that do come from being raised by single mothers. Anytime you get a man automatically just defending no matter what is said, facts, truth, everything in front of you, you still go back with misogynistic and all this stuff. Those are just words that keep men from talking. So
No, it's not. No, it's not.
it really is.
Oh my
It
God,
really
bro.
is.
No, it's
So,
not. Because what I'm saying is that, like, a lot of
Hey,
times people
listen,
tend
excuse
to.
me,
we got like the
excuse
elder
me,
speak. Yeah,
excuse
so
me.
go ahead.
Like I said, you got to be a man and allow another man to talk. Thank you. So this is something I have mothers, I have aunts, 5 sisters, and everything. And then coming up, they didn't understand how a lot of men would just follow women no matter how much they loved them. You still had to be a man with responsibility. You have to, and this is what my mother used to say. This boy of mine here would tell me, Mom, you wrong. And what can I say? If he's right, he's just right. And that's what you have to get to be in order to be a man is be able to speak a truth and a fact, not a narrative, not what someone told you. Now, what most of you probably don't understand or maybe not know is that the inside of the Democratic Party is already trying to use Hillary Clinton and keep Kamala as her running mate. That's the backdoor conversation that has been leaking out and talked about. That's one thing. You also must understand that even if they pull Kamala Harris, the black women is not really going to not do anything because they're going to say, well, we're going to join the couch. And what happens with the couch voters, let me tell you what the Democratic liberals truly understand. The non-voter, the couch voter, they understand that they're afraid to do anything against that Democratic machine, you'll be right back in the fold. They don't have to do any policies for you still because you refuse to show them something in their face by a vote against them. It's not a vote for Trump, it's a vote against them. But they tell you voting on the couch means it's harder for them to even cheat again. Because then the other side to that is you still forget all these illegals are in the census count, which they will still have seats, as the lady was talking about earlier about Texas seats and all, they will still have seats of representation based on the count in their districts to be in Congress. So one way or the other, they still going to be affecting law and everything else, being in Congress, either voting for or voting against something. So you still have to understand that. That is why the illegals are here. So when you refuse to vote or make your voices heard or known, and then when you still vote for the couch, guess what happens? You can't even go sit down and talk to a Republican because they say, well, you didn't vote for us either. So the machines itself still goes on and on because you won't stand up and say enough is enough as a collective body. So being afraid to vote is bad for you. If you are a voter, if you are a non-voter, there's no need to have a conversation with anybody. I had someone call me I've known for years, asking me about Project 2025 and all these things. So in the end, I said, you voting? No. I said, why are we having a conversation? Let's talk about your vacation. Because that's what we need to be at. If you're not voting, stop talking. Stop having opinions. Stop getting on panels, because your vote is what makes us understand that you are brave enough to do something, even if it's not agreeable to everybody. So yes, this whole issue about the black woman, Kamala's own father stated they never has on her birth certificate, and he himself never stated he was a black person, black man, a black family. He himself said that. So you have to understand, if the father said they're not black, Kamala on her birth certificate never said she was black. She was the first Indian senator, but all of a sudden it was convenient to be black when it was necessary, regardless if she's an AKA or anything. So we have to stop this thing about this gender thing and try to get man to stop talking, because he's speaking a fact about men being weak, men not speaking up, men talking policy. So when you're asked to bring up a policy that all these black women in office have done, you can't bring it up. They've had a lot of time. Then you have them with this Ketanji Brown that don't even know what a woman is, but you say you're defending a black woman, but she don't even know what a woman is. Make that make sense. Most of them today are just, it just doesn't make sense that you're defending a group that does not defend you. So that's one thing. Just understand that these people already know what they want to do. It's a machine behind everything. And if they put somebody in front of Kamala, she's still a running mate, y'all still a vote. The women are still a vote no matter what. Just like they voted for Hillary over Barack, because she was a woman, no matter what she said, no matter what she's accused of doing. So that's what you understand about that. Now, a lot of black women are put in places because they can be argumentative, loud spoken, and everything else. Don't let the men speak. Try to talk down to them. You see it all the time. And so that's why they're in a position to be utilized and leveraged, but never propped up in the long run. So it's just they're leveraging them, but they will never really, truly put the black man in power. And all the women that are there, I have not seen one have a true black husband and black family that either lesbian or married to white men or trying to reproduce themselves as white women. That's just a fact. Y'all have a good night. I'll just keep listening.
All right, let me pass it to Martha. Go ahead, Martha. Unmute yourself, Martha. Martha.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to. Okay. Yeah. I just want to say something really quick. I don't understand why everybody act like there's there's not a third party. That's the independent party. Robert F. K. Jr. is running. I don't understand why people can't think outside the box and think outside this Democrat and Republican parties. I don't so understand. We have three parties.
I agree with you.
I agree with you 100%. Go ahead, Trina. Let me yourself, Trina.
I just want to know where's the agenda for black men? I hear a whole lot of black men out here complaining about what black women do in the Democratic circle, whatever. What is your plan as black men? What agenda have you put together for you guys to get resources, to you guys to move forward? Because I'm not hearing any kind of agenda being pushed by any black men whatsoever.
Okay, you know what the first agenda is?
Yes.
Stop supporting black women that go into office and do things that harm our interests.
I don't even think anyone on this panel was really just complaining. We were just talking about policies and how black women are being used and how black men need to stand up and stop letting black women lead everything in politics. So who is complaining about that? Like we all can see that, yeah, black women should not be leading, because as we can see from the multiple black female panelists, it's more about their emotions and not about policy. Kamala versus Trump is not giving any policy reasons as to why she's voting for or may consider Kamala Harris versus that just being a black woman. So if that's the black woman's prerogative, then black men really have an issue here, because we cannot follow people who vote on emotion. We have to be men. The great thing about being a man is that you can set your emotions aside and do what's right, even though it's not popular. So that's what I'm speaking of. And yes, I do agree black men need to be more active. We do not need to be following women and whatever women do, we follow that. I think that's why the community is where it's at right now. It's illogical and emotional because not a lot of black men are stepping up and speaking out truth.
They're not stepping up and speak. More black men need to step out and speak truth. And I think it's time for black men to start leading. I believe if you lead and build, the women will come. I don't hear any kind of plan for black men to build infrastructures in the black community. What is your agenda?
Yeah, see, the black man, he do too much talking and he need to do more doing because Biden, his administration stepped down, or Biden stepped down because of donors. Donors wouldn't give him money. This is a free market economy. You start an economy, you build a financial infrastructure for black people, then we present the Democratic Party with an agenda that we want to push. But
But
we haven't done that as men.
the first step is always going to be to identify the problem. So this is the first step. Okay, so that's how it has to start, and we have to identify this whole mindset that having a black woman in place somehow benefits us. When if you look at it statistically, or if you look at it from the standpoint of policy, it actually harms us in most cases because they promote a lot of agendas, LGBTQ stuff, all this feminist agenda, all this stuff that directly contravenes our own interests. So the first step is identifying the problem. Any problem you want to solve, the first step is start talking about it, identify it. That's the first step. That's the first step we need to do, and that's the step we're taking now. But the other problem, there also we got to be cognizant of the fact that there are already a lot of black men who are quietly handling their business. So let's not pretend like all black men aren't doing anything. We're just not as vocal about it. We don't have to be showboating all the time. Most of us, when we're handling our business, we just handle our business quietly, and that's the way most men handle it. But now we have to get up and step up to the fact that we have a whole cadre of women who are coming in charge and been put in place. They've been in place in positions over us, and the policies do not often directly harm us. So it's like I voted for Trump twice, not because I think he's a great man. I know he's an asshole. He's the same asshole he was 10 years ago when all the people who now are contesting him and saying he's such a racist were touting him as the golden boy. A lot of this is a scam because you can go back and look 10, 15 years ago, and you can see a lot of so-called celebrities that were all touting Donald Trump as the next new white hope, who are now all saying he's the devil. So there's something going on, and it's the same Donald Trump. He's been the same way. I saw an interview of Donald Trump on Oprah 27 years ago. He was talking about the same stuff he's talking about now. And Oprah was saying, oh, he'd make a good president. So this is about somebody, all this vitriol against Donald Trump is about somebody else's agenda. And it ain't got nothing to do with really Donald Trump. It's about him it has nothing to do with this racism stuff or anything like that, because Joe Biden was a segregationist. He voted against the civil rights bill. He opposed integration. He didn't want his kids going to school with black kids. If you look at all the stuff, he caucused when he first started. He was caucusing with James Sutherland, who was the voice of the white South. He caucused with Klansmen. He tries to explain it away now, but he did that. So this whole thing about race, That's just an emotional tinge to get people to get black people emotionally charged so they do certain things, but it's not a real issue. There's some other issues with this globalism, some other issues, some other reasons they don't like Trump, which they can't tell you, okay, which they won't tell you about. So it's not about that. But for black men, the first step is to start acknowledging that we cannot just simply be going along quietly and being quiet and just because she's a black woman. I said when Kamala was selected that black men should have been outraged if somebody tells you outright that you can't even step up and apply for the position. When he said he was going to select just a black woman for the Supreme Court, I don't care if it's a black woman, but you don't exclude me. The fact that I'm being excluded because I'm a male is not as harmful. It is just as harmful as if I'm just excluded because I'm black. It doesn't make a difference. The same impact on me.
Dinah, can I respond?
Yeah, then after you, I pass the tea and we're gonna close out. Go ahead.
Okay. It's the same impact on me. So all I'm saying is black men have to start realizing that black men have to start speaking up, and we have to speak up. We have to speak up for ourselves because black men will not represent our interests.
Okay, so Dinah, just to go ahead and respond, I do not, and please don't interrupt. Just 1 minute. I highly doubt U.S. lawyer is an actual lawyer or attorney. Number one. Number two, nobody actually responded to what I think Trina Jackson, her question, her multitude of questions. Not one person actually responded to what she said. Number two, and number three, it really should be maybe looked upon, Dynast, because a number of the males on this panel, they really are, I don't know if it's invoking or evoking that Marxism liberation theology that has really taken hold over the past century with Black people throughout the diaspora. This, what are you going to do for me? Everybody, include me, as opposed to just taking direct action, always looking at someone else and reducing history and activity, to these binary words, like the rich or the poor, men and women. It's always me and someone else is doing something to me. We've been hearing this rhetoric for decades, Dynas, especially amongst Blackness, and it's getting quite tiring because it's not building anything. Just like he said, a number of us, we do things in the cut. We're not loud about it. So you don't do anything. You just kind of do things on your own. Okay. Just saying. Trina,
let me pass it. What about an email to Diane?
What infrastructure can we build?
Hold on, guys. Let me pass it to you. Then we're closing out. Go ahead. I'm gonna pass it to you. Then we're closing out.
For your dumb butt.
Yeah,
go ahead, T.
Just piggybacking on what U.S. lawyers said about the problem with black men following black women politically is we have a war going on right now with Ukraine and Russia. Now, take for example, if any American soldier would die in that war, men will be drafted in the war. Now, here's the dynamic with female votes amongst men votes. So we understand that Trump got the majority of the male votes. So what does that mean? The majority of men don't want these wars. Now, contrast that. If the majority of women are voting for Democrats and the Democrats are trying to push us into these wars overseas, what does that mean? There is no liability for women voting for a Democrat. Why? Because if a draft takes place, she is not going to be accountable for her actions, meaning she's not going to get drafted. It is the men who collectively came together and say, you know what? We don't want these interventionist foreign policies. We've examined the policies. We don't want it. This is a waste of our taxpayer dollar. But if the woman is voting straight on emotion, I'm voting for Kamala because it's a black woman, and just nonsense, like I don't like how mean this candidate is, that is detrimental to all men. Because I'm telling you, if men, you keep sitting back, you are going to be involved in nonsense that has nothing to do with you. And the elites, this is why the elites push women above men. It's greater than a gender war, is because they understand that women operate on emotions. They are not examining policy like you are. So thus, if you have a population that's operating on emotions and that can easily be scared to doing things, you can push a lot of corruption and social agendas that's harmful to the people. Men have got to get more active. I totally agree with what U.S. lawyers said, especially black men, because I'm telling you, these Democrats and some corrupt elements of the Republicans are pushing for this war in Russia. And guess what? We are going to be the ones being drafted, not them. They are these women just don't want no one mean, but they don't understand the implications of their vote and what it's doing. We are the ones, so we got to be more active. And yes, if we got to break away from the women and be called coons, who cares? We're leaders. We're men. We can take it. That's all I got to say.
All right,
Can
we're
I say
closing
something?
out, everyone. Thanks. Hey, we're
Why
closing
don't
out.
I email the Dynast my credentials to prove I'm an attorney?
No. It's all good. I believe you. We got to close. In fact, I'm sorry.
And how am I gonna attack-
Hold on.
because
U.S. lawyer. U.S. lawyer. Go ahead and give your credentials. Then we're closing out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said the thing they always try to do is some ad hominem attacks anytime a male speaks up. I'm not an attorney, or I'm gay, or I'm something else. No, the bottom line is you just can't deal with what I said, because what I said was the truth. Men need to start speaking up for themselves, and men need to definitely stop allowing these. Matter of fact, I just heard there was a suit that came out from the 11th Circuit where I guess it was some black woman fund where they said it was discriminatory in 11th Circuit degree. Made me start looking up this morning because I've always been planning.
You're talking about the Fearless Fund. The Fearless Fund. Go ahead.
Fearless Fund, yeah, because the bottom line is, black men need to understand you have your own distinct interests, and it doesn't benefit you if you're discriminated against because you're a male or because you're black. It's the same thing. And the bottom line is, all of these things that they're doing for women that they exclude you from, you should not accept that, because you should not accept anybody not having you at any table anywhere for anything. And you can't accept any reason like, well, you can't be kowtowed into believing that it's misogynist. If you speak up about it, you have to look out for your own interests, because the bottom line is nobody else will look out for your interests.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty, search for Haru. Peace.